our opinion, that's just the reality of how many fans there are for SKT. They win today, they go into playoffs, even if it's temporarily. That'll mean a lot for the SKT fans.
Yeah, they're going to do the very best they can. Into Champion Select now is Sion, once again going to be banned away. Interesting that he's going to be on the blue side, but I think making sure that Faker isn't on just a tank or something like that is a good idea, so not wanting to flex it so much with Ryze being taken away from the man I just mentioned.
Flex pick doesn't hold as much value for SKT because, like you mentioned, there's been a couple of good Galio games, but tank mid laners is the sort of thing that have been ironically jeered by SKT fans in the past. Even the Galio has been criticized, but they've been looking good with Blossom on these first pick Galio blue side comps, and they will actually draw a Galio ban from BBQ. No Birdio available to have their own skin on the Rift.
Yeah, they're going to ban it until that one's available, and they're never going to ban it ever again.
Nope.
And just get really upset when, you know, if Faker's going to play, they ain't using his skin anyway, so it would be very disappointing. Olaf going to be banned away.
Disappointing
and you were talking
for me.
about this. Yeah, exactly. That Blank has done it in the past and hasn't been moving towards it.
Yeah, it's a bit strange because Blank, as you say, legacy Olaf player, playing it in solo queue, it's his most played recently. I thought finally we would see Blank bring back a bit of the kind of swagger he had. He was actually the better Lee Sin for the side of SKT last year than Peanut. You know, they found a lot more value from him, and the Olaf ban will draw a Varus ban, given that Olaf is one of the big counter picks into Varus compositionally. That means the junglers are available, and not a lot of teams actually prefer the Skarner over the Sejuani recently. They're going to show Skarner, big pick for Trick in the past, and maybe it's a bit of a mind game by SKT, as they're just going to take Caitlyn and say, look, now your only option is Tristana, which of course is a pretty big losing matchup, or just something different for BBQ.
Well, it will be the Tristana Hobbit, at least for the moment. We saw Caitlyn being very, very high priority in the first series, and Trick is going to take away the Sejuani. And I like it. You don't need to grab a jungler just yet. There are so many on the board, and Blank can just go to the Skarner if he wants it now.
I think Skarner was a mind game by SKT just because Sejuani does really well on the Skarner matchup. So while Skarner coming in is still going to be a power pick for SKT, I think BBQ chose the right side of the coin, taking the earlier Sejuani priority, and Faker's going to jump on Azir. No big surprises there.
Yeah, massive damage potential and playmaking potential out of Faker is going to make everyone grin at home. BBQ do have a lot of tools available to themselves, as this would be pretty obvious Camille top, unless Ignar's going to do anything fancy with Camille on the bottom side, but I highly doubt it. It's been a while since we saw that Camille support.
Blank's first game on the Skarner for 2018, and for some fans, I'm sure that provides quite a bit of unrest because they remember his Camille game, his Jax game, his struggles on some of the new meta picks, so trying to make something happen on the Skarner this time around.
Blossom has given it a try, but he's only one out of 3 as far as victories on the Skarner, so Blank, see whether he finds a little bit more luck. Tempts Corki, going to be taken away, of course, mostly for that being a comfort pick for him.
Probably going to be a lot of mid lane focus with bans here for SKT. We'll see where Tempt wants to go. The Azir himself hasn't worked. 0-7 on the season. Not necessarily been a failure of his mechanics, but the champion hasn't really gelled with the team. Malzahar still has most play. We're waiting for our first Malzahar. Patch 8.4, some good item choices there, but toned down multiple patches in a row, making the pros feel weird about his balance levels. Wait and see what the second ban is. I know if this was Faker against the Azir, you'd be considering a Kassadin ban, because he loves the Kassadin into matchups like this, but unexpected from BBQ. I think Taliyah is the most likely choice for them, and will be the second ban for SKT.
Yeah, Taliyah going to be taken away, and if you're going to go down the power level board, would certainly be well and truly up there, even if it is also a good answer to the Azir.
How's your Vel'Koz is the question that you ask here, as that, of course, is the Crown counter pick into Azir. As maybe we're getting spicy here. There's no support locked in. This will be very early for a Blitzcrank. I'd love to see it locked in.
Yeah, 1 second to go. The Alistar is going to be picked up. And Ignar going to be back on his signature champion. That makes some sense. We did see this out of MVP as well. Bottom lane actually did very well. And didn't lose a turret at 10 minutes that, you know, these Tristana lanes have been doing against the Caitlyn's.
Now looking at SKT, looking to round out their draft. Get away with that Syndra. The Swain, though, on patch 8.4, we haven't had one yet.
That would be exciting.
Showing us lots of new stuff, but so far not locking it in, and now going for ultra domination in the 2v2. Bang and Wolf want to be aggressive. That's cool to see.
Now Antara has to try and find some sort of counter pick into the Camille, and does he go back to the Fiora?
It's a really big difference from SKT. It's their first Caitlyn game of 2018. Remember, they've looked over Caitlyn in multiple series recently. Not being a fan of it, as Antara's gonna...
doing it.
He's going for the skill matchup. That's fun to see. It's kind of been up and down on those recently. Wasn't able to make the Jax work against Kingzone. I want to talk about specifically the Jax work against KT, I should say. I want to talk about the Caitlyn because it's the first time SKT have actually run it. And first picking it shows a different take on the meta. With the Caitlyn, final pick's going to be mid lane. Would they go into a skill matchup? Ari's been around the meta but not locked in. And it's going to be the Ziggs.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Debuted by Ian, of course, for MVP, and the Ziggs straight up didn't work. Tempt, a different beast altogether. We'll see whether the long-range harass and wave clear is going to work against Faker.
We've got zones as well. The minefield, the ultimatum, a lot of zone control by the side of BBQ. You do worry, though, because even though there's going to be a lot of damage to traverse, you go for an all-in on Faker, you hit the ultimate, and the Emperor's Divide into your side, and very hard for the Ziggs to fully disengage. So Tempt is pinched and goes to the way of the Ziggs. A fun one to see, but a risky one to be true.
Yeah, very risky. Syndra was hovered, we saw that. He's a 66% win rate on it. Tempt decided not to go that way, and he's going to be playing the Ziggs instead. Still, I actually find Ziggs extremely entertaining. We'll be able to help with that side lane control as well, utilizing the Mega Inferno Bomb, just chucking it around.
And a fun side lane to be true. Antara continues to be aggressive in his choices, even if he's been up and down on the skill matchups. Sejuani, a nice takeaway for Trick, but the Ziggs versus Azir. It's going to be a fun one to track. SKT, who have gone scaling in the bot lane, we'll talk about it more in the match, finally go to the Caitlyn Thresh. I'm excited to see SKT mess up BBQ through bot lane.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can actually do it. Lane priority everywhere for SKT as well. They should be able to get blank around the map. So many things to talk about, so many things to look for in this, the first match. So let's get into it. Let's get into game one. I love it. All right, so a little bit delayed there with the BBQ yells, but making up for the fact that there just aren't as many of them in the crowd today.
A lot of cheers for Faker. We had the Chinese SKT fans come around and give us some gifts as well. The cheerfuls in full siding in the crowd, but this is a very, very different draft from SKT, who last time we saw them were back to the Sivir Atlas. They were on the Sivir again, and I sat there and said, it's a lot of scaling, don't know how to feel about this, and it lost, and there was no surprise there. Now you see them go for lane priority. This is Caitlyn Thresh, about as aggressive a 2v2. First Caitlyn on the season coming through from Bang. Fiora has the skill matchup advantage over Camille. It's probably a 60-40. And even Azir is going to have decent lane control against a Ziggs. There's a lot of space for Blank to find aggressive moves on the Skarner or power farm and good lanes to gank at level 6. There's a lot of good news stories for SKT, and it really is a night and day identity difference to what we've seen from SKT in recent months.
Yeah, and the starts are going to be different as well. And Tara actually already up towards the top side of the map, meaning that Blank is going to be starting off his blue buff on his own. Not too worried about too many early action, but just getting lane priority everywhere they can. This high-speed play in the early game from SKT is a welcome change.
This high-speed play and letting Yaskana deal with the blue buff himself and rushing to lane with double ranged. It's the horror laning phase for Alistair, who will be denied level 2 as long as possible. Only all-in options then to be talked about. Yep. See when the vision starts to come around the Gromp, because that's the vision you want, to be able to spot any potential ganks on the Sejuani.
And Tara, we were talking about lane priority. This is a lot of lane priority.
And this is a matchup that has gone the way of Camille again and again. We always talk about skill matchups. Again, this was one that was actually very Fiora favored in the past, and I would argue Camille's getting stronger in the matchup because she has the ability to take Comet and take better trades. Does have Comma here. It's Klepto from Ontara, which is pretty standard.
Yeah, Wolf actually going to be able to offer a lot of damage with the help of Bang after landing a hook.
And teams using Fiora has also been a problem, Atlas, because even when we've seen Fioras go even or slightly better than even, actually winning with split push in a meta where you run at Baron, you put down some Baron minions, and you just win in one lane rather than playing hard macro, doesn't favor Fiora either. So we'll wait and see whether we can be convinced by Ontara on the Fiora.
See how much control SKT are going to have as well, because if they can isolate that lane for as long as possible, it certainly is an opportunity for them to get some work done. As Blank very early on this Ocean Drake.
He's definitely going to need help. You cannot solo that down. As they get the information that Bang and Wolf are onto it.
Yeah, well, Blank will need some help as the smite is utilized. Wolf, if you could just tank that one for him, buddy, that'd be real nice, because it's very close to just killing him. And in the end, I mean, it wasn't exactly pretty that they were able to lock it down. He doesn't really want to take that Lantern.
Wards onto the Lantern as well to stop it being taken. They're looking for a kill here.
Yeah, Wolf, he's just going to get stunned up. They'll grab first blood and they'll trade it for the Dragon. A little bit of a disaster.
I mean, that's what happens when you try to solo down Ocean, which has a lot of value at 4 minutes. They do pick it up, but you cannot solo it as a Skarner, or really any champion. Maybe an Olaf can solo it down, but that means they have to give up a lot of their lead in the duo lane. They don't use any summoners. They can return and just start wave clearing and playing the same playstyle. But there should be no advantages, nothing on the side of BBQ when it's double range Caitlyn Thresh. But they err away from the 2v2 and get justly punished by BBQ.
Yeah, and the advantage that you're going to get on the bottom side of the map needs to be pressured the entire time from SKT. They really did give Ghost a little bit of a way back in. He gets himself a decent back as well. There's another wave he's going to shove forward. Ninja Tabi is going to be the first option here for Ghost, who's feeling the pressure. Good trades from Crazy, actually, is Ontara. He could be in trouble. Or hangs onto the wall just to...
Smeb style.
Yeah, just baiting.
It's going to give Ontara flashbacks, that one.
Kind of reminds me of a koala.
A drop bear?
Yeah, drop bear.
Well, Blank's not going to deal with that Ocean Drake anymore. And there is going to be an Infernal very early in the game, around 10 minutes. See if the return is onto that.
Had a lot of Infernal Drakes so far today.
We've got a forever laning phase for Ontara, if we can get away with it. Double Dorans and also the gold generation from the Ancient Coin.
Yep, like the Soldier build. Good fun. Should be able to keep him there for as long as possible, though. See whether the Klepto trades are going to keep paying off.
It's 2 is the rush coming through from Faker. Obviously, you would normally see a Stinger as a first item, but Oots 2 to sidestep the Bouncing Bomb and also have the movement speed to look for that catch with the Emperor's Divide at level 6.
Yep, and if you can do that, you can work very, very well with Blank and the Impale at the same time. You can really maneuver someone a long way. Ziggs doesn't have a lot of options as Wolf isn't going to find the hook, but gets a decent play.
That's nicely played by BBQ.
Yeah, headbutted back and takes a lot of damage from the turret. Heal comes down from Bang, who was looking for that one onto Ghost, but won't be able to get that crit.
They disengage the trade, but it's a pretty good one from BBQ, all things considered. Bang stays full health. You cannot fully engage onto the Thresh, otherwise eventually Caitlyn will be able to answer the trade. Ninja Tabi from Ghost. It's a horror lane, let's be real. It's a really bad lane to deal with. But Blank's actually looking for, at minimum, the zone here.
Yep, Predator does come down, but doesn't find the Fracture. This is all just denying creeps from Ghost. Cannon will actually be gained, so not too much missed out on by BBQ.
It's going to get bigger and bigger if they continue to jungle around it. So I like where Blank is on the map. That's what you want to be doing. Playing around where you're strongest, which is the bot lane.
Also timing it for when Ontara was sitting underneath his turret as well. You couldn't be sort of taken advantage of on the top side with that, and Trick is completely discovered. That is Grom. Level 6 not found for both of these junglers.
They desperately don't want to smite it. We do see the smite because it gives Trick level 6.
Yeah. With the Glacial Prison there now, no Impale available. He does need to be careful.
It was luckily he had a second charge of smite available, so the much shorter cooldown allows him to get level 6 and back away.
Oh, Crazy. Knows that the Riposte is on cooldown and gets a really nice trade with the hook shot.
His skill matchups for Ontara. Hopefully he can turn it around, but the early laning phase has been pretty rough, and it's also a huge power buy in the Tiamat first for Camille.
Also, just how the matchup does work. You mentioned already that he gets the Comet access, does Crazy, so always going to have a little bit more power, but Ontara are going to be happily scaling towards his first few items. and then become that terror in the split push in the later stages of the game.
Blank will steal away a buff, and we're seeing Blank return to his old ideology of being super aggressive. He's going for a top lane gang. Pings are there. Crazy should know this.
He's going to get a lot of health back as there's the flash just to deny Crazy moving forward. Ultimatum comes down. He's just going to wander out. But that's ultimate and flash on cooldown now.
Sejuani in a ward, but has his ultimate bot lane.
Whoa, in goes BBQ. They do manage to get the Lantern as Bang. He's flashing. He's not wasting any time with this all in.
His heal was down and ult was available on go, so he needed to show the respect. Nice aggression. Trick is spotted, or at least inferred, because of the fact that he went over a ward earlier. And look at Ignar. He's trying to put one in there. We have to remember, this was, of course, Ignar on the side of Misfits against SKT's bot lane, where he read them like a book a couple of times. Misfits almost had the ultra upset over SKT in the quarterfinals at Worlds, so definitely get one over on Bang & Wolf again.
Well, we'll see whether they can go in for any more of these all-ins. Tristana Alistar has been a duo lane that we've been seeing since almost the inception of League of Legends.
I still remember Chaos and Special playing it Season 1, so...
And that level 3 all-in, man, that was always the thing. I mean, this one's a different one because this is at level 6. Buster Shot was available there, but Ignar, he was only level 5. They still didn't have Unbreakable Will, and they were going in super hard. BF Sword now done for Ghost, so it only gets more difficult if they decide to go for that. And Bang with the inopportune buy, actually grabbing the pickaxe instead of the BF Sword.
Kind of surreal that we have a, well, it's quarters rematch when it comes to Ignar versus SKT, but also Trick faced SKT in the MSI final.
Yeah, true.
As well. Now in very different scenarios, and BBQ right down the bottom, but that's the thing about facing SKT is, you know, we do have teams that, you know, rob from the rich, they beat the best teams, then lose to the worst teams. BBQ did beat Kingzone the first round robin, and when you're facing Faker, whether it's a solo queue game, if you're a high-rated player, or in professional play, you get that little buff because you just want to upset the best, and that's what Faker represents. So teams do generally play better against SKT. SKT fans don't want to hear that, though. They want SKT to pick up the victory here and keep up the pressure for players.
Yeah, now this is one of those stories where a lot of the time in SKT games you're used to saying, well, SKT, they have the scaling advantage, blah, 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 blah. Yes, they do have a lot of scaling power, but bottom side of the map, this is where Bang & Wolf really should be shining around this couple of item mark. BBQ have been doing well. Looking for another dragon, our SKT, and they should get it.
They go into the Infernal, they have the positioning early. Faker can leave lane. Looking to trade it, though, so we'll find something. That's a top side looking for this Rift Herald. Should be able to pick it up pretty easily. Infernal going the way of the enemy team is a happy thing for the side of SKT. Continue to play around bot side. Credit to Ghost for being able to recover a lot of the CS lead in a very difficult laning phase with Blank in his pocket the entire time.
Well, in goes the Predator. Mega Inferno Bomb does come down, but it's not going to be able to save the turret. Not even that minion that did survive, so it's going to be first turret blood 11 minutes into the game, and it's the danger of picking Tristana into Caitlyn.
That's why we see Thresh so much recently, is that with the game going more and more mid-game focused, you combine Thresh with a strong laner, get out of lane, and then be able to look for the catch with the Thresh is a really big threat. The ultra late game where Thresh falls off never comes if you can just always rotate around the map. So first turret blood, nice extra injection of gold, and it's going to be all about turret slaying for SKT as Caitlyn's going top.
Yeah, and I like it that the Thresh then transitions into having great synergy with the Skarner as well after that. So getting the Impale to work out quite well with the use of any sort of death sentence landing. You just offer a Lantern, and then you've got someone for free. It's Bang already up here towards the top side of the map to continue, like exactly what you were saying. Destroying turrets over and over again.
First rotation is going to be there for SKT. Tristana wasn't banking on this early rotation. Now the Rift Herald will be used bot lane, but I can't imagine it's going to find too much value given that turret's very healthy. Stick around though. This is one way to answer, because usually they'd be heavily out-rotated by being second to the lane. Why not just try and crash a turret with the Rift Herald? So BBQ doesn't actually lose out massive tempo from this, except for the fact that Camille ends up getting the shortest end of the stick as she's zoned away from top lane turret.
And the problem is, this is a pickaxe Caitlyn. Not a lot of damage per auto attack on these turrets. So not going to be doing much meaningful damage. And Shelly's going to get another go at another turret. Half health will be the inner turret after this push. Actually more than that. And they've turned it around, made it more valuable down here because Faker even had to roam.
Yes and no. Taking Faker's time, I think, is more relevant than the chunk into the inner turret, because getting back to the inner turret is a very multi-step process. You kind of need mid lane, outer turret down, and vision control in the enemy red buff to be able to get all the way back to the chunked out turret. So it's often very difficult for teams. I mean, we had famous metas a few years ago where it would be all about creating a long lane for the top laner to deny. Think of Flame in the old days. So actually getting to profit off inner turret damage or an inner turret chunk is difficult. Whereas SKT want to keep playing where they're strong. That's basically wherever the Caitlyn goes. And she may not have the teamfight damage, as you point out. She does have the pushing advantage in every scenario.
Yeah. Did, I guess, deny a freeze as well over from Antara, so I just thought it was good capitalization. Blank still hanging out here towards the top side of the map, and this is where things get dangerous for BBQ. Is the chunk out much more relevant when it's the outer turret?
If SKT lose a fight, I think there will be a pretty severe turnaround in this game. Predator is announced, though.
Yeah.
Blank's just zoning away. They just want this turret. They want to keep the game pace up. Consider that if BBQ can actually get control of the map, which right now seems impossible, Blank just walks up, tank up the last shot if he needs to. They do have deletion damage from the Ziggs onto turrets and structure damage with the satchel charge. So they have big damage to structures. It's just right now, with the map working against BBQ, with map control, and with Skarner jungling around the Caitlyn, those sort of things are theoretical because they don't have access to turrets.
Yeah, and that's assuming we're going to get to a point where things are going to stabilize for BBQ. SKT certainly have been known to be able to take control of games and never relinquish that. We may be getting a little bit confused, you know, because MVP versus Kongdu was a different story. That was games being thrown backwards and forwards, and that is not where we're sort of putting SKT, especially strategically. With a coach like Koma who knows how to construct a composition that has an identity. SKT once again looking like they have that option.
It's such a different identity. It's really cool to see that, you know, 5 days later or so since the last time they played, suddenly, out of nowhere, the priority on Caitlyn. First Caitlyn game of the season. Suddenly looking for proactive plays, even without Blossom on the lineup. Trying to take the mid lane turret. Difficult to do against the Ziggs on the first push, but Skarner pushing up vision in the area. And such an early Drake that seemed like a large cost at 4 minutes represents 5 spawns if they continue to take them off spawn. So see if SKT can keep it up. It's a different SKT game plan, but like you say, one that historically they've been able to engineer just fine.
Yeah. I'm excited to see a new look as well. I'm sure all the fans at home thinking the same thing, because we want change from SKT. We want something to breathe new life into these players. They're playing the same thing over and over again for a long time there and not getting anything. Now, coming off the loss against KT, the loss against Kingzone, a loss against BBQ would feel so much worse. Redemption for a lot of these players. Antara up here towards the top side, looking to try and defend against Ghost.
Able to have him out of Crazy's lane for a long time. He's been taking losing trades, as we saw, around the Camille for the last parts of the game. So he's going to be happy that it's been other lane assignments. Now Faker's into the lane against the Camille. If you notice, Ziggs has no control of mid at all. Mid lane priority the most to the side of SKT. Right now no one's really playing to mid lane, but double control ward sticking means that he has to respect the Skarner at all moments. BBQ going to answer the turrets though. Second of the game, going to be taken here.
Yep. Top and bot lane, outer turrets removed from both teams, and that's going to even things out almost completely. Klepto advantage certainly on the side of SKT, but Fiora's not going to make as much bank from that rune as people like ADD did in our last series.
And Temp just showing so much respect. He knows there's no control at all, no information at all. But that does mean that rushing to the third Drake spawn at 17 minutes is easy for the side of SKT. So the secondary win condition, the Elder Dragon, especially the second Elder Dragon, oh my, that'll be an amazing buff. He's going to be there.
Ludicrous amounts of damage.
The mountains this game. Second Cloud Drake, which Skarner's happy about.
Yeah. Booking it. He's going to have so much movement, so people have to keep our eye on those numbers. Move forward. Crazy. Try and take down this Gromp. See Blank. He's here, but he's looking to just go back home. See how far into his next item he can pick up.
The only unknown here for SKT, whose game plan so far has been very solid, is what does the side lane in the 4-1 look like for SKT? You're not going to group with Fiora unless you have to. Ideally, Fiora should be winning the lane matchup pretty hard against the Camille as the game goes on. But what will it actually look like given Untara's recent struggles? The one thing to give you pause after otherwise, a very clean, very straightforward game plan has been executed well by SKT in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, at the moment, it looks like Crazy's having an absolutely fantastic time, and I'm glad you sort of let us know we do need to be waiting until the game moves a little bit further forward before Fiora can just opt in for any all-in that she'd ever want. And now, Blank, he's in trouble. He's going to get permafrosted and can't click on the lantern. The wards going down on top have been brilliant. And Blank is going to fall. That is the second time SKT member has been caught out of position. Has had to do with where the Skarner's been positioned.
It does mean their mid lane turret lasts longer, and the longer the mid lane turret lasts, the more time traditionally Tristana will have around minion waves, and thus the more items Tristana will have before this game crests into true team fights. Still feels almost like we're back in a lane swap meta when it comes to everyone has been playing structure focused, and in the case of SKT, taking Drakes as well. BBQ are happy with the game continuing to gel because they have backup team fighting with the Camille having the true flank teleport options and Tristana and Ziggs together being insane turret destroyers. You get a Baron and a Banon, my god, the turrets are going to be the most dead ever. We know it takes 8 shots from a bannered up siege minion empowered by Baron. Well, if you have the satchel charge, it doesn't even take 8. It takes about 5 and a satchel, and the turret's dead.
Yep, and Tempt is going to have his 2 items in now. The Banshee's Veil comes down. We've got Trinity Force for Crazy. What's my favorite thing to talk about? It's item spikes, and I think BBQ are in a great position to try and go for any fight they can find. And what do you know? Baron's going to be up in 20 seconds. Opportunities now. As the game goes on, it's interesting because we spoke about the early power that SKT have. That was on the bottom side of the map. As the game moves on, the Fiora should be able to get to a position where you need to send a team to kill her. And Faker's going to be ridiculously powerful with all of his consistent damage.
I think Blank's going for a Baron build. By that, I mean Warmog's quite early. Usually when you see Kindle Gem and another Ruby Crystal, it's indicative of the Warmogs.
Yeah, Trick also able to pick that one up already.
But it fits much cleaner onto the Sejuani, and her identity has even had health scaling for damage. To me, the only reason to do that on a Skarner is to peel off Baron a million times. So
yep,
it's probably going to be the call here. Baron did have the Warmogs did have the threshold increased to 3,000 on this patch, so a little bit harder to get the greater Warmog's healing passive activated. BBQ looking for plays.
Yep, there's the flash. Trick just jumps right on top of Bang, and he takes most of his health bar. Oh, the flash bouncing bomb. But a casual sidestep's going to be enough to get Bang out of the way. All of his summoner spells are down, and he should have to go home because there's no lifesteal just yet. Is this an opportunity now for BBQ? And the answer's no, because there's so much vision for SKT.
Double flash for a single flash, and also use the flash on the Ziggs to make that happen. I think they should just accepted the chunk and just disengaged. They went for the optimistic flash bouncing bomb, don't get it. While Bang will be down. Summoners, like you mentioned, it's all about the next step, and it doesn't really even get them Baron control, as Blank's in the area, stopping them from going for full control around Baron for BBQ.
Yeah, Trick actually moving on over to his Raptors, so not even going to get an opportunity for that. So curious call. Sort of understood why they were going for it, and then all of the things that they could have done, they just decided not to do. So perplexed. Trinity Force now matched by Untara on the top side as well. So Demancy starting to pay off. He's down 50 CS. Crazy probably still with a slight advantage. Looks like it will be not the Ravenous Hydra this time around for the Camille.
Titanic for faster pushing, because you push a wave, you think about the teleport. You push a wave, you think about the teleport. Fiora, it's only about fighting in minion waves because of her lifesteal-centric build. Expected to be a Ravenous Hydra there, whereas Crazy has a lot more teamfight options. So I like the idea of the Titanic.
Yep.
Here's the satchels.
See you guys. That turret is going to go down, and the turret lead now going over to BBQ. Feels like against the flow of play, but with spikes coming in left, right, and center for BBQ on the top side of the map, you can understand why SKT have to play a little bit more respectfully.
Level 16 is the big one for the Fiora, just so the ult kicks into the highest gear possible. She's still very uninterested in laning against the Camille, and that's to the tune of 50 CS, with Klepto to be included, though, and also Now into the Nomad's Medallion. Going to be concerns that the gold generation going to make it pretty much a wash. Every time SKT gets Baron pick control, you wonders. Time to see for once an aggressive trade from Montara.
Yep. Crazy not too worried about just dominating the Fiora in the lane. SKT setting themselves up for a potential Baron. Sand Soldiers hanging out in a bit of a conga line, but they are going to be abandoned. And Faker going to pick up the mini wave on the top side of the map. No sneaky little Barons, even though the vision very, very much in control by SKT.
Very tense game. This game one certainly hasn't been the rollover that maybe SKT was looking for. BBQ continue to fight back. The Ziggs has been smartly played, even if it's given no actual map control in its own lane. It's been able to repel pressure. And it's not a trivial thing that the mid lane turret has never gone down Atlas, because that was very much the focus coming through by the side of SKT. They definitely started the roll, but could never get the mid lane turret, and that's delayed the game. And Justana does have 2 items. The third one, we know that's the sweet spot for the Trist.
Yeah, I absolutely love this as well, because the game has gone exactly where we'd expect it to in all of the lanes possible. Bang has a gigantic lead as far as farm, even though Ghost just managed to get a couple back. And then Crazy able to do the same thing against the largely scaling Fiora as well. You can see that Ziggs has been what's impressed me out of Tempt. He's in touching distance when it comes to farm, and he's just played incredibly far back. He's got himself his Unsealed Spellbook, he's got a Ghost now, he's going to be even safer.
And he's found a way to avoid the Skarner without actually going into QSS. Just goes Banshee Veil and plays non-committally, so he's able to just hang back. He's going to go Oblivion Orb into Morellonomicon this game, just to be able to cut down the eventual Fiora healing, if there is to be a true team fight, and also what Caitlyn will be putting out.
Faker going to do the same thing by the looks of things. Oblivion Orb already picked up for him also, so bit of copycat action on the in the middle of the map.
It's definitely an item that's picking up as people are cottoning on to the fact that
Magic penetration is still good.
The magic penetration part is one thing, but the grievous wounds being from full health rather than being below 40% health with the old Morellonomicon is a big buff, because you start a fight with a Sand Soldier auto attack onto 5 members, reducing healing on 5 people instantly. And that's actually a lot of power. It's going up in most pros' evaluation, is that's a pretty fast Skarner.
Yep. Scorpion going to be booking it. They're not going to find anything. It's just Predator invested as Crazy makes his way over the wall.
That's a Titanic Hydra for the first push. Knows he now has about 10 seconds before he needs to start looking to match Fiora in the side lane.
Yep. Blank actually very far behind as far as items. He's been sitting on the makings of a Warmogs for a long time. Trick, I believe, has a bit in the bank if he decides that he wants to go back home. Crazy takes a bit of a love tap. But no real worries there as Antara moving towards the mid lane. We'll see where he's going to go. Doesn't want to be grouping. Wanting to put pressure onto BBQ. They once again grab the Crystal Spire. And the Rift Scuttler there as well is going to be taken.
Flow of this game has been so consistent. SKT control the pit. Ignar puts down 3 control wards. They run out. And he has to go back and get more. That's kind of been the thing, is that all of his gold income has been put into picking up control wards, stop the Baron from being started. The Drake control, which meant so much how early the first few were, has been stalled out, which is another good news story for BBQ. They might actually steal one away against the stacking that SKT had going on.
Yep. Yes, their Elder is also going to be a little bit more valuable, but mainly denying SKT from having a 4-Dragon Elder with none more needed to be taken.
Inferno will be the final spawn, so that will definitely be contested.
5 Drakes going to be on the map, like you alluded to earlier on, but we did manage to kill them fast enough to be able to grab that. Warmog's finally done here for Blank.
This game is really, really tense. The banner value before Baron comes is actually quite low. It's good against the Ziggs if you're trying to pile into mid lane. If you see BBQ out of position, you put down a banner and say, well, Ziggs can't deal with this, let's try and rush it down with autos. Can't use it in the side lane because Camille will answer it very, very easily.
Yep, just get destroyed. Ravenous Hydra is done for Antara. Titanic also there for Crazy. So item parity, it's Kleptomancy. It's on top of Antara, and it's only going to get more and more difficult as those items come down. Steric's Gauge going to be item number 3 for Crazy by the looks. And then you'd imagine something like a Guardian Angel is the item after that.
We still haven't seen Hextech Ultimatum and the Mega Inferno Bomb. The obvious synergy there, the AP, not a max AP build by Tempt by any means, but had a lot of different threats to respect. They're turning on to Baron here, BBQ. They feel like they want to draw SKT in. There's no vision from SKT. They don't know about this.
Yep, in goes Tempt. He's going to try and keep them out as Blank. The smite is in here. He's going to have to go, but the buster shot is going to secure it for BBQ, and everyone going for the disengage. If they kill Trick, I'm sure BBQ don't even mind about it, because they managed to secure the Baron, and it was beautifully done. Ignar
was in a great flanking position this whole time. Didn't teleport there, just positioned himself there. SKT had control of the Baron pit for the last 20 minutes of the game when it was relevant, but nothing happened there. And in a blink of an eye, BBQ make a very smart veteran call. I imagine that one was led by Trick, and now they have Baron, and the Fiora won't be able to enter lane or at least pressure into the Camille like she could before.
Well, SKT find themselves a man advantage in the mid lane, so against the flow are able to take down that last remaining outer turret. That had already been taken, of course, by BBQ earlier on. Now they notice that this banded up minion is not one that they're having a great time trying to kill. As there's the flash impale, but Headbutt Pulverize is enough to get Blank out of there. He couldn't take the Lantern, and he's just going to die for the second time this game.
They made the same mistake again and again. Again, they try to make the Lantern play, but it's getting warded instantly, and SKT are not able to use the exit. It's an old SKT strategy as Ignar is being turned on to.
Yep, you can understand why, though. He has been dictating the pace of this. There's the Emperor's Divide. As Faker gets pulled back in again. Ghost just grabs it. I'm not sure what that interaction was. It was no fun for Faker, though. And Untara, he's going to follow suit. Tempt managing to land the skill shots. Ignar says, guys, I've still got my ultimate. Why weren't we fighting before? But it didn't matter. They had the picks anyway.
And remember, this is a relentless push. The satchel charge is wasted. That was bad from the Ziggs, but they're going to continue to walk up. Bang, very nice with the flash.
Yep. Sidestepped it as well towards the end, so BBQ unable to quite get the damage here onto this turret, but no banner of command needed, and they do get it in the end. You can see Ignar, he just teleported back. They wanted to make sure that they could continue putting on this pressure this whole time. Tempt, he's got to teleport if he wants one, but his Ghost is still on cooldown.
And Ghost has 3 items on the way, so watch the replay of what happens here. Crazy tactical sweeps, get rid of the Banshee Veil. From there, Faker falls low, but the last order follows him over the wall. He dies. This is still messed up by BBQ. They should have been able to take, I would say, the inner turret and a chunk onto the inhibitor turret, but the satchel charge is too early from the Ziggs, so it doesn't get the assassination on the turret. The explosive charge can't be profited on because Ghost has to back away. It's still good for the side of BBQ. They're up 5 kills to 0. Now they're rotating with Baron. No banner of command available, but they are looking very powerful in the siege.
Yeah. Needlessly large rod now for Tempt. Rabadon's Death Cap will be coming in as his fourth item.
That is a minion wave right there.
Hanging
Atlas.
out. Yeah, that's a big one.
All right.
The cow becomes the shepherd as Ignar.
Can we get our charges clear, Atlas? First the explosive, then the satchel. Wait for it.
There it is. We did it.
Third time's a charm.
Nice work, Tim. Impressive that they didn't need it this whole time. As Bank, right at the end, but not enough. Mega Inferno Bomb coming down at the same time means the slow is enough to make sure Wolf is out of this fight. Tempt wanted to tank that one up, but you can see Ghost, he was happy. All right, with just putting that one down, and looks like this split push still Crazy having a decent time, able to shove minion waves forward and split up SKT. They need to respect the Skarner. They have been able to have the answers to it every single time he's tried to get in there and get an Impale kill.
The mind game was there. Hover the Skarner, then take away the Caitlyn at first pick. But the Sejuani was the right choice by Trick. And you think about the reverse game, I feel like the Sejuani from Blank would have been able to push them over the edge from some of the things that, honestly, the Skarner has been zoned away from. The Skarner has been able to provide almost nothing this game.
Oh, hook. Almost. Trick understanding that it was already flying through the air. I'm sure he didn't, but sidestep looked like he did.
Infernal spawns in 20 seconds. It'll be difficult for SKT to get there because they have so little map control. They do have flank wards that haven't been scouted yet by the Ziggs.
33 minutes could be a potential timing for a Flame Horizon. So Crazy on the top side as well. And Ignar, he wants to make sure of it, because if Untara's dead, then he's not going to be able to find it.
He's going the right way, though, Untara. Unfortunately, into the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, there's the right way, and then there's this way, but He is actually going to be able to do it. Infernal Drake, and now there's all 5 of them standing here. Mega Inferno Bomb onto 3 as Faker dashes out of the way. So that means that BBQ now have control. It's an Infernal apiece, and Ignar gets another headbutt pole. Blank has had the worst time ever this game. They still haven't found themselves a kill, SKT.
Just can't find the rhyme and rhythm with Untara and Blank for the 3rd game in a row. Gets caught, nothing the Skarner can do. Ignar predictably on the Alistair, going for his backdoor plays. Bang drawn to the top lane wave. So the wave to be brought up first by Tristana, then by Ziggs and the Camille. Still very easy for BBQ to break the base with the 2 charges, the explosive into the satchel. But for now, SKT been good at stopping that turret assassination from Tent.
Yeah, minute and a half until that Baron is back up again, and BBQ want to try and get some siege in here. Checking in on Ghost, level 16 now. Draw a bead, starting to really even out against Bang's range.
Right to SKT, they're running BBQ between turrets, and never have we seen the ability for Ziggs and Tristana DPS down 1, and multiple turrets above 60% is just fine for SKT because they want to crash down 1 wave to BBQ. We're looking over at the gold. This tells you the story that right now it's not the biggest gold lead. It's only 4,000. It's not massive for 34 minutes. They're looking for Ignar. He has to flash.
Yep, Faker could almost get himself in there, but decides not to invest the flash.
Yeah, Baron's spawning in 50 seconds, so if Ignar dies, you might have him respawning and teleporting in, but you won't have Baron control. Because now if you kill a support, there's no tracker's knife to put down vision, and there's just a real poverty of vision being available, so you won't be able to get the setups, and the pick from Skarner becomes more reliable. So smart of Ignar, he gets away, able to return. He actually is going to turn it into the Ghost, going for a full pick build.
But also making sure that he gets the flash back up again. Had a couple of charges on that spellbook, so this is one of the cheeky things you can do. Switch it on over, and then grab yourself a fresh flash on your other summoner spell. So nicely done.
Sort of thing that can be fat-fingered, but we're going to give Ignar the benefit of the doubt. He's a big playmaker.
Well, also, his flash is so valuable because he's been making so many of these plays and getting himself into the right position.
Guys, remember, it is announced globally when both teams change their summoners. It's something that SKT will know.
Oh, yes.
When you have the 2 charges, you can change your flash from D to F or vice versa.
Oh, but then it's on the wrong button, isn't it? Oh, okay. See whether it's worth it here.
That's why I said or vice versa. Otherwise, we get a big argument about which one it is, the lash or the flash.
Yeah. I'm just not even going to go into it. I know what the right answer is, and that's all that matters. The vision control battle is certainly coming in, but Trick, he wants to start an actual fight. Mega Inferno Bomb yet again doing so much work.
Bam.
That's crazy. He's team fighting like a beast right now. Bang, outside of the fight. Untara explodes as the Sun Turret is all Faker can do. He's trying to walk out, should actually make it, but 5 members of BBQ should be able to get him in. Here's Faker going 1v5 and still able to flash to relative safety and clear up the minions.
He's going to proxy the wave. That's why he makes the move. He desperately wants to stop BBQ for the push. They don't feel confident enough to actually tank it up. Caitlyn's going to respawn and get in position. The play from Faker denies them control on an inhibitor, but they're going to rush straight to Baron.
Yeah, Baron should be able to be taken here, but you have to hand it to Faker. That was stunning. Saved the base. They may have an opportunity now to stall things out, but with a Baron buff, the BBQ won't have contested at all. Should be an opportunity for them to really crack things open.
The theory there was that BBQ were going to take the mid lane inhibitor quickly because of the Ziggs and the Tristana, and then get Baron as well, because SKT wouldn't be in position to actually contest it. So that's why he comes in just to taxi the wave. That was a really deceptive ultimate from Trick, like the animation canceling, and Blank dies as if he was never there. Instantly dead was Wolf as well. They can't kill the Caitlyn as you run out of chases eventually. I know that's surprising to hear about it, Camille.
Yes.
But from there, they get the Baron. They still are in a wonderful spot to break the base, but they still haven't done it at 37 minutes.
Yep, Ignar going for full team fight as well. Lock of the Iron Solari means that there's only 1 banner of command. Trick did pick that one up very recently. So Crazy actually going to get pulled all the way in, but he just puts down the ultimatum. Maybe they wanted a Mega Inferno Bomb. Huge damage, and SKT were obliterated.
It should be illegal to be having that level of WMD on the Rift. Holy crap, he just died instantly.
Rapidus Deathcap's really strong right now, Papa Smithy. Oh my goodness, Tempt. 4 gigantic items. That's why you can't fight in a corridor, but honestly, I don't blame SKT. We haven't seen Ziggs do anything since he was an AD carry.
Nope. And they're going to win the game from this. Nothing the Fiora can do.
Yeah.
And the game around him. And BBQ Oliver is looking to deny some of those playoff hopes. They're not out of it if they lose to BBQ, but it gets a whole hell of a lot harder.
Yeah, Bruce the Bomby Knocker just knocks down the Nexus alongside BBQ. But I don't think, you can't call that an SKT loss. You call that a BBQ victory because they played out from the mid-game forward beautifully. I haven't seen Trick with that much control in a long time.
The difference between the two teams is that everyone on BBQ knew their role. I love Temp just hanging back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Ziggs. I've got ranged wave clear. The Ziggs ended up being a masterstroke even before the explosion with the Hextech ultimatum. And on the side of SKT, you say, Blossom isn't playing blanks there. Did we get value from blank? No. And the Fiora picking for lane, didn't work either. So those two parts, which have been a consistent problem for the side of SKT, again need to be looked at. Will we see a change in lineup? Because Coma's got the book out. He's trying to work it out. But so far, BBQ Olivers executed way better than SKT outside of the early game where the Caitlyn Thresh got value done to a point until the Ziggs delay. It's 2014 all over again because the amount of delay they got from the Ziggs, the mid lane turret, just wouldn't go down.
Yeah, and that was only delay in the laning phase early on because there was nothing about delay when it came to that late game, and that Ziggs was playing super far up, flashing for bouncing bombs even if it didn't necessarily work. But it's the Mega Inferno bombs hitting 3 to 4 people every single time, always layered on top of that Glacial Prison. Just an absolute joy to watch. BBQ Olivers understood that team composition inside and out. Everything worked out.
And they are a 9th place team. The power of BBQ never seemed to gel, but in this game, the off meta met the inside meta, met a very nice game 1 victory.
Yeah, absolutely stunning stuff. And I don't know, how do you bounce back from that sort of performance? SKT must still be reeling, and there's still 2 more games to go. Do we see Untara back for game number 2? Do we see Blank back for game number 2? I personally have my doubts that we're not going to be seeing a different iteration of SKT as we come in after the break. And guys, I know it's a lot later than it normally is at this stage, but it looks like this series is getting spicier and spicier. So definitely worth the wait if you were sitting there in purgatory earlier on just wanting to see SKT. Guys, we are going to have that short break right now. We'll see you right after for game 2.